guest from Berkeley Senior Services, the Executive Director, Amy Orndoff.
Good morning, fellas.
Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming out to John's book signing on Friday night.
Oh, not a problem. It was a lot of fun.
It was
a lot of fun. It was so neat to hear like the behind the scenes and the behind the stories of where you got to each one of your books. It was very interesting.
See, all you people out there, you had the invitation to come. Those of you who didn't, you missed something.
You did.
But
You
there are
truly
still books
did.
available if you want to go
It was
buy
cool.
them.
Could we have
It was
fit?
very cool.
Could we have fit any more that was standing room only?
Actually, they ran out of chairs and they were standing room only.
I was standing in the back with the Admiral. We gave up our chairs to some ladies.
We would have made room. We would have made room for you. We'd have made it work.
That was pretty cool either way. It was generous folks to turn out on a Friday night in Shepherdstown. You were about to say, Jim.
I have a question, something that I don't know. You were talking about the pies. What exactly is mincemeat?
Funny, you should ask that.
Thank you,
because
sir.
I just brought it up.
He didn't know either. I wanted to be put on the record that John Gilstrap, New York Times best-selling author, did not know either.
Mincemeat is a pie filling is a mixture of dried fruits like raisins, currants, and candied peels. Spices like cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, sugar, and suet.
Suet?
And some suet.
Suet.
Yeah.
Suet.
Sewage.
Okay,
And
now
sometimes meat.
Next question. What is suet?
Fat.
Wow.
Like bacon.
Like bacon. That actually doesn't
Bacon has a
sound
lot of
bad
fat.
if it's bacon. I think I'm going blueberry, though.
I don't know. Something about meat and pies. Like, I like a good shepherd's pie, but...
You make a good
make
shepherd's
well,
pie.
thank you. But you add fruit with meat, it just...
And suet.
And suet.
It's like those donuts. You get the maple donut with the bacon on top. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, that's working on me.
Yeah, that's good.
How's that protein bar hanging on?
Yes, yes.
I do know next time I order a mincemeat pie, I'm going to ask for extra suet.
Oh, okay.
Give me some extra suet.
Don't drain the suet. Just leave it right on there.
Yeah.
Got to have my suet. Amy, let's talk about the lunch today at the Berkeley Senior Services. You know I'm going to ask
I
you
know
that.
you were going to ask that.
Because you can have lunch there. Anybody can.
Anyone can have lunch there. We are having chicken parmesan with tomato sauce over noodles, spinach, cauliflower, and a banana.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah, they started cooking yesterday, letting the sauce kind of marinate and simmer, and
This is the mistake people
permeated.
make with red sauce. You can't just make it and serve it.
Oh,
It's got to simmer.
It's got to simmer, and it was simmering all day yesterday.
This is the way to do it.
Yeah.
That's
They
why
should
I
make a
opened the chef.
candle.
I opened the chef boy the day before. Let it sit out.
Let it breathe.
I believe, and then you stick it in the fridge so you can have some good botulism with it. Yes.
Everybody knows you got to let your chef already breathe.
Don't ever put an open can in a fridge. It's our public service announcement for the day.
No open cans being
Botulism is no fun.
Yeah,
I've had it. It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
It's a great weight loss program, though.
we don't open a lot of cans at the center.
Let me ask you, when is lunch served at the senior center?
We serve every day, Monday through Friday, from 11:30 to 12:30.
Okay.
Who's your chef?
Renata.
Shanada. That's right, Shanada.
Shanada.
I had to remember who that was.
Yes, she has an entirely new team, and they are just really falling into place and picking up the pieces. And we had our first of many audits, and which she came out with flying colors.
Awesome.
So at the end of July, we will be audited now on her menus, making sure we're
Who
in
does the
compliance.
auditing?
We have state and federal audits.
Okay.
So we have them coming from all different directions.
Is it like a health department thing or dietetic thing or what?
Yes, both. And it's also from a financial standpoint. So just making sure all the invoices are in order for what we are saying that we're spending. We have backup for that. We do have health department inspections, which we very seldom ever have anything come up on our health department inspections. The one thing we do have is we have a small, and God bless the county, we have a small area in our kitchen where our dishwasher is, and the paint tends to chip there, so they ding us for that, but the county comes right out, paints over it, and then 2 days later, after the water is dripped, the paint comes back up because it's concrete floor. So
I see.
But,
So in regards to lunch,
Yes.
when I would guess most people don't know that anybody can eat at Berkeley Senior Services, but the concern would be, well, I'm taking food from seniors if I go and eat lunch at Berkeley Seniors Center.
oh no, not at all. Our meals are we receive state and federal funding to provide our meals. Our meals are prepared for seniors. And if you're not a senior, a lot of times we'll have seniors that will bring family members just so they can meet who their grandparents are hanging out with or who their mom and dad are hanging out with. So there's always enough food. You're never taking anything from our seniors.
And it helps you financially if people do eat lunch there.
Absolutely, because anyone under the age of 60, it is a $7.25 charge, which is our reimbursement rate. So we're not losing anything for any meal that we can't claim.
So I just have to state for the record that there are two of us in here who would have
You
to
always
pay if we ate,
do that to
and
poor
two of you
Rob.
who wouldn't.
Poor Rob.
Cheaper meal.
There you go. You're a cheap
That's
date,
not.
Rob.
Yes, Rob. Can I take you to lunch at the senior center one
Anytime
day?
you want. You got to pay the full rate, though, Bodwell.
I will have to pay. The
Age
full
has
rate.
its privileges.
Yes.
Yes.
This is not about the senior center, but it is about age. When I turned, I don't know, 60. Anyway, I was going through the grocery store, and they said, because it was Harris Teeter is the grocery chain in Fairfax, and on Thursdays it's a 10% discount for seniors or whatever it is. And they said, "Do you want your senior discount?" And I said, "Well, of course I want my senior discount." And then there's a bottle of wine, and they wanted to see my ID. I said, "Really? You just gave me a senior discount, and I've got to show you my ID to buy a bottle of wine. Do you see the disconnect here?" And she said, "Well, we have to do it." I said, "Well, give me your birthday." I said, "Okay, 1986, which is my son's birthday." And then she said, "Oh, come on." I said, "No, you come on. You cannot have it both ways here, okay?"
I'm shopping at Harris Teeter. I want a bottle of wine.
Well, getting back to the discussion
Yeah.
before for the proletariat, that's where the bourgeoisie. That's where they shop. Harris Teeter.
Well,
working man.
it was down the street from me then.
Harris Teeter is one of those places where you go in to shop and you don't ask how much something is. You know.
Yeah. Yeah, we definitely
Actually, I have price tags now,
They
Jonathan.
do.
Yeah, you don't have to ask anybody.
It's gotten that bad.
but you have to remember we're a nonprofit, so we don't shop at Harris Teeter.
No.
We order everything from a distributor that is very generous to senior centers because we do crank out a lot of food. We provide a
How
lot
many
of food.
people do you feed?
Oh, last year we served almost 40,000 meals.
Whoa.
Wow.
So between our home delivers and just people coming to the senior center. it's a
When
lot
you
of
guys
food.
deliver at home, like you do it Monday through Friday, when you deliver on Friday, do you deliver meals so the seniors have food over the weekends?
We do. We actually deliver on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And then on Tuesday, Thursday, we're preparing the meals so that we can prepare for. But they get a meal for 7 days a week. And then holidays, we're closed on Friday for West Virginia Day. So on Wednesday, the drivers will have meals for Wednesday all the way through until they deliver again on Mondays.
And what is, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it anyway, because you always ask answers. You always ask questions you know the answer to. What is the cost for seniors to receive home delivered meals?
Absolutely nothing.
So anybody out there who knows a senior who may be struggling a little bit with food insecurity, please have them reach out to the senior center because they will deliver them food. They'll make sure they have a healthy and a good meal, an actually prepared meal, not a frozen food, a prepared meal at no cost to them.
Everything is prepared from scratch. We do very, very little to no processed foods. And one of the biggest things that's a misconception, and I'm part of the West Virginia's Directors Association, and in a few weeks I will step up as president.
Oh, congratulations.
Oh, I don't know
Dun,
about that.
dun, dun,
I don't know about that
dun,
yet.
dun, dun, dun.
One of our biggest goals for the upcoming year is education because we're well known for our activities and our parties and the things that we do at the senior center, but a lot of people don't realize what senior centers throughout our entire state actually do outside of our walls. And we just last week we had an in-home care client that our home health aide had went to do her job, couldn't get into his apartment, which was totally unusual. She went to the front desk of the senior high-rise. They said they could not let her in, so she calls the office. Our in-home care supervisor tried to call the client. He was not answering the phone, so we got in touch with the city police who did a well check. And good thing we were there because the man had laid on his bed and had a stroke the night before. Mm-hmm. So had we not been there, had we not continued our efforts, that man would not have lived. They would have found him probably, days later. So what we do is so important, and the education of what senior centers have to offer and how much money we actually save the state is astronomical. So just being able to let everyone know that senior centers go far beyond the parties and even the food and the transportation. And we're in these seniors' homes, and we get to know our clients, and we get to know our seniors. And when something's off, we know it. And a lot of times we're dealing with seniors who have no family. They have no one to check on them. We're the only face they'll see. If we deliver a meal, they have to come to the door, or we have to lay eyes on them. And if they don't come to the door, then we do well checks to make sure they haven't fallen, to make sure that something's not critically wrong with them. So that's a big part of what we want to do in the upcoming years, is just really educate on how important our senior centers, not just in Berkeley County, but throughout the state, all senior centers, how important they are, and the variety of services that we offer.
You said that the senior center saves the state a lot of money. Where is that savings? How does that manifest itself?
A lot of that is with our in-home care services, because we're keeping the seniors out of nursing homes, which I was listening to the treasurer talk this morning, and we're all kind of on pins and needles waiting to see what happens with that big, beautiful bill, because that will have a direct impact on our reimbursement rates for home and community-based services.
Now, how do you interface with Meals on Wheels?
We partner with Meals on Wheels. I saw Diane at your book signing. She's fabulous. The need is great, and Diane has an incredible group of volunteers that delivers her meals for her. So if it's something that we can't get to immediately, we'll call Diane, see if she can help fill until we're able to do it, or vice versa. So we do partner. The biggest thing is, because there is a charge for their meals, a lot of times seniors just can't afford it. So we try to work hand in hand the best we can.
I just, politically speaking, we had the Build Back Better. Now we have the big, beautiful bill. Will the next president's gigantic piece of legislation have different letters to start it? What do you think? BBB, big beautiful bill, Build Back Better. Will this bill work? Did the last bill work?
I think
what's going to happen?
Hopefully it starts with a B, like it says balanced budget bill.
Balanced budget bill.
Yeah.
I like that.
I think we need to wait and see how the big, beautiful bill plays out, and see if we want to keep the letters.
Some come to mind, but they all begin with F's.
Reagan balanced budget bill. Yeah. Amy Orndoff, our guest here from Berkeley Senior Services. And Amy, as we get into these summer months, is there a big summer activity that you're building towards?
We, well, of course, we'll have our big birthday bash. I believe that's on the 27th.
Hold on. Big birthday bash.
Bill.
There we go.
Is there a guy named Bill who'll be attending by chance?
I'm sure. The DJ will be Monty, so we'll throw in an M there.
DJ Monty.
But no, we'll celebrate April, May. The birthdays in April, May, and June. We were planning to go to a Flying Boxcars game that got rained out, so that's been rescheduled for July. And then in September, we'll have our annual Senior Heroes Dinner, which is a big fundraiser for us, which we're very excited about, to recognize Monty Connor. And then we gear up for the holiday season. We're incredibly busy through the holiday season, so never a break.
Today is what, June 17?
Yes.
So you are 6 months and 8 days from Christmas Day.
We are.
Right? You're basically halfway.
We are.
Through the year now.
We are. We're already planning.
And first day of summer, I think, is what, Friday?
Saturday? So,
21st.
21st. Saturday. I leave for the beach.
Oh, good for you.
Yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Very excited.
What in regard to the number of seniors in the area versus the number who use the senior center and even are aware of it, how is your outreach? Do you think you have saturated the area so that enough people know what you do?
I don't think that we'll ever be able to saturate the area, just because we have so many people living in this area. And our advertising budget is very limited. So we do rely heavily on word of mouth, which is why it's so important that we maintain our reputation and what we do. But, we do have an outreach team that has been outside of our building for months. That was one of the things in our last fiscal budget that really wanted to see happen, because a lot of people don't know what they don't know. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times seniors, as they begin to lose their capacity to do a lot of things, they really hold on to the things that they can control, and them not reaching out is something that they can control. So a lot of times it's a matter of us finding them. We just had a situation where we had a husband and wife team that they needed to go to the grocery store. So when we went to pick them up, we realized their cabinets were bare. They had nothing in their cabinets. So we hooked them up with some resources and got them some help. But if they had not had reached out, or we had not made contact with them to take them to Martin's, we would have never have found that. So, and they were in need of some in-home care too. So it's kind of a trickle-down effect, and we're able to offer all of those things under one roof.
Is there a senior council, so to speak, or coordination of organizations and activities, so that you're always, like John asked earlier, if you were coordinating with Meals on Wheels, and you are, but is there a greater network of senior care in the community?
We're working on that. That's one of the things that we want to put together through the Directors Association. Because when you think senior center, you don't think of in-home care, you don't think of transportation. So how can we spread the word that this is what we do, and it's an all-encompassing agency for any senior. Yeah. And any family member. We do a lot of education on, as your loved one starts to decline with health, where do you go next? What do you do? How do you get those long-term plans in place? So we're working really hard to educate our community.
You still do free transportation for seniors who need to get to doctors and such?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We take a lot of people for chemo. We take a lot of people for dialysis and just their standard medical appointments. We do the non-emergency transportation care like EPTA does, but we partner with EPTA because a lot of times, our buses are going in so many different directions. We're so much smaller. Elaine is great at, hey, I've got this person that needs to go here. How can you help us out? And they'll take the first leg and we'll do the pickup, or vice versa. So just really partnering with other agencies is huge for us.
How far in advance for transportation should people plan?
We like to have 3 days notice, just so that we can make sure that we have a driver that can get that way. But we make anything work.
And then is it a route? You pick up patient A and then you drive to patient B and then you take them both to the wherever they're going, to the medical center?
It changes every day.
Okay.
Yeah. So every day we have a scheduling coordinator that looks at, okay, who's on the schedule today? What drivers do I have on the schedule? How can I get everybody where they need to be? Plus get everyone at the senior center. Our normal activities, seniors usually arrive around 8:30. They usually leave right after lunch, but then we have the respite program. So that's from 10 to 2. So juggling, getting people there for that, and then filling in the gaps with the medical transportation. So it's quite cumbersome.
I guess most of the seniors drive themselves to the senior center. I mean, I presume most of the seniors are in a position where they can drive themselves.
A lot of them ride our transportation. We have, depending on the day, bridge, pretty much everyone, we have a sanctioned bridge club. They pretty much drive themselves. The daily comers are usually on our transportation.
How vicious are the bridge players?
I cannot wear dress shoes through the building when they play bridge.
Yeah, you don't want to play unsanctioned bridge too, because
No.
you can really cause
Well, it
some
doesn't
problems.
count. It doesn't
Yeah,
count if
it
it's
does.
unsanctioned.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I like to walk into the room and just yell bingo. They don't find that, they don't find that funny.
I think
They don't find
as
that
sweet
funny.
as you are, they probably don't appreciate
They don't
that.
find that funny.
Yeah, how many seniors can you accommodate at a time at the center?
Oh, our room holds up to 200 people, so
Up to 200.
up to 200.
Okay. If you were to guess as to what percentage of seniors in Berkeley County take advantage of the services that you offer, all of the encompassing services, what percentage do you think that is?
I would say upwards of probably 65%.
That's pretty good.
Considering, between transportation, and we have some seniors that only use transportation, or we have some seniors that only receive in-home care services or only come to the senior center. So we see a lot of faces, and we deal with a lot of families.
If you were going to say 10 or 15%, I was going to be disappointed, but that 60% is pretty good.
Yeah, I'd say more than half of our community we service in some way, in some capacity.
That's great stuff. Amy, don't go away. We have a final minute. You get to come back and say goodbye.
Okay.
And whatever. What is the address of the Berkeley Senior Services Center?
We are at 217 North High Street in Martinsburg.
We are back with more after these.